Hey friends, Patrick here. Welcome to another Twitter API with .NET tutorial. Now in this tutorial, well, you read the title and saw the thumbnail, we're going to build our own Twitter scheduler. So how would you work with .NET, the Twitter API version 2, that's important, right? And Hangfire to schedule your tweets and, well, publish them into the world. This is what we're going to do in this tutorial here. And if you like this tutorial and learned something, guys, I'd really appreciate it if you just click that like button, smash it if you want to. And maybe you even want to subscribe to my channel. It would mean the world to me and it does make a difference. And if you want to support my work even further, then scroll down to the video description and there's my new Patreon page. And thank you so much to my 4 patrons already. Guys, I love you forever. Thank you so much for that. And now let's start with the tutorial. All right, first a quick recap. You can check out the timecodes, of course, if you already watched the first tutorial in the series. What we had to do is, well, we just created a .NET 8 web API. And sorry if you hear the loud cars outside. It is really, really hot in here, so I had to open the window. Hope you can accept my apologies. But anyways, regarding the dependencies, you see here packages. We've got tweetenv, the tweetenv API. This is what we are using to post tweets. All right, so here installed, you can see tweetenv API. That's it. They unfortunately stopped developing that thing. See it here in April 2021. So version 2 of the Twitter API is not fully supported. So we had to build something ourselves. And yes, I know this is a fat controller, but I think for this tutorial, it's enough. And maybe I built a bigger thing out of that. And then of course I will use services, for instance. Anyways, here in that controller, first thing you have to do in our post tweet endpoint is set all your client get the client and set all your keys. Again, did that in the first tutorial. You've got an API key, API secret, and also then client key and a client secret token. That's the right term, I think. And with that, then we execute an advanced request, meaning we have a custom request. And this is what is necessary with tweetenv because they haven't implemented a publish or a post method yet. Maybe they do it sometime. I'm not sure about that. But if you want to do it, meaning publish a tweet, then you have to do it that way. And for that, we have this little method here, build Twitter request. And this thing now, well, edit a model here, the post tweet request DTO, nothing more than just a text property. And this thing, as you can see here, we serialize that to have a JSON body, right? And then we create a string content out of that, encoded with UTF-8 and set the media type to application JSON. And then this is the URL, the route from the Twitter API. We set the HTTP request method to post and then set the content there. And with that, we will publish a tweet. Let's test that real quick. When we start this, we see our endpoint here. Try this out. And playing around with the Twitter API again while recording the next YouTube tutorial. .NET, why not? We hit execute and we see this is the result. We have the ID, we have the text, and we go here now to my profile. We can now see this beautiful post. See it here 10 seconds ago, and we can click on that thing, and this is then the same ID, right? I can enter it here as well. And we get it. Isn't that nice? So this works already, but now I want more. I want to build my own Twitter scheduler. And for that, I'm using Hangfire. Real quick, I'm currently creating a .NET 8 Web Dev Jumpstart course, which will be available for free. We're going to have a look at web APIs and entity framework there, for instance. And if you want to be the first to know when this thing is available, then I recommend just check out the link in the video description and I will send you an email when you can get it. So scroll a bit further down and then you know what to do. And now let's continue with the tutorial. All right, that's the wrong tab. So we have to install some packages. Right click the Twitter X scheduler project, in my case, manage NuGet packages. And now here, first thing, we browse for Hangfire, all right? And what we actually need is here, Hangfire ASP.NET Core, almost 60 million downloads. So with that, you know that this is the right thing. We just click on install, accept everything. And after that, we are not done. Oh no, we need more. The next thing is Hangfire SQL Server, because I want to use SQL Server for that. I downloaded and installed SQL Server Express for that. You can do that too real quick if you want to know how to get it. SQL Server Express, you can just Google that and then you see the downloads, and you can then even use the developer version, full-featured free edition. Didn't want to download it now, but still here also Express a free edition of SQL Server, ideal for development, production for desktop web and small server applications, right? This is what I use. And when you also download this thing, then I also recommend the SQL Server Management Studio. That'll be this thing here, all right? And with that, you can manage your database. Don't have to use it. You can also use Visual Studio for that, but I just like it. And you will see in a sec what is going on when we use it. So Hangfire SQL Server it is. Have I installed that? No, I did. Okay. Then to be able to use that, meaning Hangfire with SQL Server, we also need a SQL client. Let me have a quick look what is going on here. Got a warning. Not sure about that. Let's just continue. So for that, to make this work, we also need something else, and that would be the Microsoft Data SQL client. All right, so this is used by Hangfire, and that's why we need it. There's a pre-release version. We can do it because I'm also using the preview of .NET 8 or RC, no, not RC1. In this case, it's the preview edition, I think, because I started this before RC1 was released. So let's just install this. Although now I've got RC1 installed, so yeah, RC1 should be used. Anyways, let's just try that. We'll see in a minute if this is working. So we've got now Hangfire ASP.NET Core, Hangfire SQL Server, Tweet Envy, of course, and Data SQL Client. What else? Well, not really necessary, but there is one situation where I wanna map a DTO. So let's just install Mapster. Love this little library here, 17 million downloads. It's your decision if you want to use Mapster or AutoMap, all right? So now I'm using Mapster here as well. Okay, and now we can go back to our code. Almost. First thing we have to do is create our database, right? Because now Hangfire is using our database to, well, make the schedule magic happen. You don't need a cron job, any kind of Windows Server jobs, anything like that, not necessary. You can run this on your local machine if you want to, but of course you can also deploy it then. But still, even then, you don't have to use the any kind of jobs. All right, so here, video game database, we can actually remove this. Tweets is the one that I also want to remove because I'm adding this. Time tracker is from the .NET Web Academy. Just ignore this thing. But now here I will again create my tweets database. All right, so this is just an empty database. This is necessary. You have to create it up front because Hangfire will not create the database by itself. No tables here so far, but there will be some in a sec. So we've got our packages, we've got our database. Now we have to register Hangfire. So back to the program CS now. And in here, we say builder services, and then add Hangfire. Yeah, we need the using directive here actually. Hangfire it is, using Hangfire. This looks great. Add Hangfire, and then here configuration, and then for the configuration, we actually say use SQL Server storage, and here now we need a connection string. And in my case, again, since I'm using SQL Express locally, this could look like that. So server would be period backslash SQL Express for the one on a local host. Then the database name, which is tweets. Then we say trusted underscore connection and set this to true, and trust server certificate also true. All right, hope this works. Trust server, that's what I was looking for, add the semicolon. So again, we register with builder services at Hangfire, then configuration is configuration use SQL Server storage, and then the connection string, which is the server equals period backslash SQL Express. Then database, not bases, database is tweets, our tweets database we just created. Then we set trusted connection to true and also trust server certificate also true. And with that, this should work. And the last thing we have to do here is builder services at Hangfire server. That's it. What is this doing? Well, we don't see it here, but you will see what this is doing in a minute. But additionally to the server, we also need a dashboard where we can then see what is currently actually scheduled, and which is also simply amazing when you use Hangfire. So here now we just say app and then use Hangfire dashboard. That's the one. All right. So with that, add Hangfire as a service, add Hangfire server, and then use Hangfire dashboard. This is everything we need. And there's one more thing we have to change in regards, let's say, to the configuration before we can actually implement our scheduling feature. And this is in our project file. We see invariant globalization. This is set to true. And this doesn't work with this package here, or in essence with the function that this package here is using, meaning it relies on certain globalization features, this package here, but they are unavailable due to this invariant mode. So we have to set this to false. Try it out yourself, please. Feel free to do that, and then you will see the error you get. But now everything should work just fine, and I suggest we just restart our application now, and we see something else is happening. Not only the, I don't know, 4 or 5 infos in the log. See it here, Hangfire background job server, using the following options for Hangfire, work account. We have a shutdown timeout, we have a scheduled polling interval, and so on. Here are the background server processes. Yeah, so it seems to work, right? And now when we go back to the browser, there it is. Actually here, simply say Hangfire, and there's our Hangfire dashboard. Isn't that nice? And here you can see the jobs, and here then we will see the scheduled jobs, for instance, succeeded, processing, failed, and so on. So I'd say let's try that. First things first, we need a new model where we add our date time value, so the date and the time where we want to publish our tweet. Because here, when I would just add it here, then the Twitter API won't be able to work with that. So we just copy and paste this in essence and add the schedule for property. No, it works. Okay, so this is a copy, and let's just call this now post scheduled tweet, maybe post scheduled tweet. And here now we add another property which is of type, this one here, date time schedule for instance. All right, and with that we get our date, and with that now also we can go back to the controller and add another endpoint here. So now this is also a post, or the post method is used, but regarding the route, we call this schedule, for instance. Not using or doing anything asynchronous in this method. So this is simply public iAction result is returned. Schedule tweet is the name I like for that method. And here again, we're using the post scheduled tweet request DTO. And this is again a new tweet. All right. Now, how do we get the correct date and time? Well, in Hangfire, we have a method to delay a certain job, all right, or give a scheduled job a time span and not a date or time, all right? So we have to first calculate the actual delay. For that, we just say var delay, not delay, delay is new tweet schedule for minus date time UTC now. All right, with that, you can see it here. This is now a time span. And next we check if the delay is greater than 0. So if we actually requested or provided a proper date and time value. So if delay, every time delay, why delay? It's delay. Greater than time span 0, only then we say background job and then schedule. All right, and then in the lambda expression, we say post tweet. This is the method we already got. New tweet, okay. And now comes mapster, where we use the beautiful adapt method to, well, map the DTOs. And this shall now only be a post tweet request DTO, like that. And here now, enqueue add, we add our delay. It is not the delay. And when this is done, we simply return OK. And then here, for instance, tweet scheduled. Awesome, huh? And if it's not 0, then we return a bad request saying, not new tweet, but we're saying here, please enter a valid date and time. Something like that, all right? One more thing, since we are calling this method in essence here in our scheduler, we can change the automatic retries on fail, right? So by default, I think Hangfire is trying to schedule or run the method here, the post tweet method 10 more times. But let's just say we reduce that, for instance, to automatic retry attempts 0, okay? So if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and that's it. And now we can already test that. So restart the application. There we are. We've got our new endpoint here, schedule. It's called, let's just try this. And here we say, well, this is a scheduled tweet posted while recording another YouTube video. And I like this hashtag here. And this is almost the correct date and time. Let's say we make this a 7 and we hit execute. Tweet scheduled. This is nice. We can go to the schedule here. You already see it, right? In 2 minutes, we will see this thing now. Of course, I will edit this video so you do not have to wait for 2 minutes. Now it says in a minute. Now it says in 1 minute. In a few seconds. And a few seconds ago. Isn't that crazy? So we can have a look here. What is actually going on? So this is the body here, right? So this is the text that we want to send, and it did already send this. State succeeded. Isn't that nice? Took 516 milliseconds, all right? And here you can also see succeeded. This is what we scheduled this job here, and now it is finished. And when we now have a look again at my profile, we see this is a scheduled tweet posted while recording another YouTube video. Isn't that nice? So this, just like that, already works. But there's one more thing I want to show you. How about scheduling a complete list of tweets? So for instance, you want to work with your social media brand, I don't know, the content, and you just want to sit down one day, prepare a couple of tweets and then send them with one request to your Twitter scheduler. Well, For that, we need something else. We need a new model where we have a list of tweets and then another endpoint where we have this list. And then with the for each, we go through this. So let's do that as well. Again, next step, a new model. So right click, add a new item. And now let's call this beautiful name post scheduled tweet list request DTO. Post to scheduled tweet list request DTO. This is a great name. Just one property, a list. All right, so a list of post scheduled tweet request DTO, and these are now the tweets. And let's initialize that thing with a new list. There it is. All right, and now already the endpoint. So here in the tweet controller or the tweets controller, again, HTTP post it is, but this time let's call this bulk. All right, so we can just send a big list of tweets to our web API. Again, public iAction result schedule tweets now, not just one tweet, tweets. Post scheduled, yep, that's the one. And let's call this now maybe just requests. All right, because it's not only one new tweet, a couple of tweets. So what I want to do now here still is I want to check if the date time value is correct. So what I would suggest is to create only one for each. We go through everything. If a tweet is invalid because of the date and time value, then we add these to the list. And then we also count the tweets that have been scheduled. And in the end, we return just one message that is telling us, okay, I've scheduled 5 tweets, for instance, out of these 10 that you sent me, and the other 5 are invalid, something like that. All right. So first, the invalid ones. So var invalid tweets is new list of posts. That's the one. Okay. And then simply scheduled tweets is 0. Then a for each, where we say for each tweet in the request tweets, we say again the time span. So time span delay, Jesus, is tweet schedule for date time UTC now. By the way, again, I have my baby in the baby sling here. So if you're hearing some baby noises, well, that's because of her. Sorry about that. Then if the time span is smaller or equal to 0, then we say invalid tweets at tweet, and we just continue. But if everything is correct, then we say background job schedule, and then again the lambda expression post tweet adapts to post scheduled tweet request, not scheduled, post tweet request DTO, like that. And here it is the delay. All right. And here now we say scheduled tweets ++. And this is the first time I'm actually seeing this sticky header here. Is this new in Visual Studio 17.8.0 preview 2? Haven't seen that before. Maybe I missed something. Please tell me, have you seen that before? For me, that's pretty new. All right, so scheduled tweets ++, that's it. And now when the for each is done, then we create a message. So string message. And if now we've got any invalid tweets, so invalid tweets any, all right, then we say our message is scheduled tweets. Tweets scheduled successfully, for instance. And then we also add, I know we could use some other syntax here, but I'm still used to that one. Sorry about that. Invalid tweets count. Tweets had invalid dates and were not scheduled. All right, something like that. And in the other case, we just say message is something like all scheduled tweets scheduled successfully. And actually scheduled tweets is not the best name. Let's rename this to scheduled count maybe. Yeah, I think that's better. All right, and in the end we return okay with that message. Great. So again, HTTP post, bulk the routes, we get the list or use the list DTO. We have invalid tweets, a scheduled count for the successful tweets. We check if the date is correct. If it is, or if it is not, then we add this tweet to our invalid tweets list. Then if date and time is correct, again, we schedule this thing, we increase our counter, and in the end, when the for each is through, we create our message here saying either so-and-so tweets scheduled successfully, but so-and-so tweets had invalid dates and were not scheduled, or otherwise all so-and-so tweets scheduled successfully, and return that. All right, that's it. Let's try it. So our app is still running. We have no scheduled tweets, but one succeeded one. Yeah, okay. And our new endpoint bulk. All right, and here you can see now this is an array. So let's just try 3 maybe. All right. So here now scheduled tweet number 1, and copy that. Scheduled tweet number 2, scheduled tweet number 3. Now here I would say I make this now 15 or 3 o'clock p.m. and this just 1 minute later, and this now just means it's in the past, so this should be invalid. All right, so let's just execute this. And we see 2 tweets successfully scheduled successfully, 1 tweets, all right, had invalid dates and were not scheduled, semicolon. All right, we can replace this with a period, of course. And here we see we now have our 2 scheduled tweets. And just like that, I refresh the page and we see no tweets are scheduled, but we've got 3 succeeded. And again, when we refresh my profile, we see scheduled tweet number 1 and scheduled tweet number 2. Isn't that nice? So this is how it is done, scheduling tweets with TweetEnvy and Hangfire. And of course, if you wanna have more features, please tell me that. I would like to actually build a .NET 8 Blazor client for this thing, so where you can really manage your scheduled tweets, because when you have a look here now, we just refresh the database and you see the tables here, right? We've got jobs, job parameters, and so on. Do not really have to access these tables, but I think it would be interesting to create another table where we put our scheduled tweets so we can then see what's the text, what is the date and time of a tweet. So we have an overview by ourselves. Maybe we can, I don't know, add templates for tweets, something like that. So it is even easier for us to create tweets, schedule them, you know, so that something is going on our profile. Wouldn't that be nice? So these are just some ideas. If you have more ideas for this application, some features, again, please tell me that in the comments below. And guys, if you liked this tutorial here, please hit the like button, smash it if you want to. Please subscribe to my channel. It really does make a difference, means the world to me. And again, thank you so much to all my patrons supporting me for my work. With your help, I am able to create more and more tutorials like this one here. So I love you guys forever. Thank you very much. And now I can just say thank you again for watching, and I hope I see you next time. Take care.